welcome everyone, get comfortable. We're going to be learning about independent and dependent variables today. So first we'll start by talking about what an independent variable is, what a dependent variable is, and then we'll talk about why that matters, why we want to know what these are, and then we'll try a couple examples. So we'll start kind of with our language arts hats on, and what does independent mean? Like just in language arts, like not maybe not necessarily in biology. Does anyone have some ideas?
Being on your own.
Yeah, being on your own. Can anyone else add to that?
Not having to do with other things.
Yeah, not having to do with other things. What about dependent? We have independent, what about dependent? The opposite of that. What do you think? So it's depending on something else. Yes. So dependent means it relies on or depends on something else. So then a variable is something that we're changing and we're observing, we're watching how it changes. So an independent variable is something that we're changing and it's all on its own, and a dependent variable will be something that the change happens. It's not something that we do, but it's something that happens as a result of us changing the independent variable. So this will make sense when we kind of explain why this matters. When we're doing an experiment, we want to keep most things the same. We don't want to change a bunch of stuff, but we want to have one independent variable that we change. And so when we keep everything else the same, and we change this one thing, any difference in our data, anything that is changing, or we can compare, we know it's based on this independent variable, on this one thing we're changing. So changing the independent variable, the thing that doesn't rely on anything else, the thing that we have control over, doing our experiment will change what we see from the dependent variable. And that's something, the outcome of the dependent variable depends on what we do here. So let's try an example. Are we good so far? Does anyone have any questions? Awesome. So pretend that we're botanists, that we're plant scientists, and we plant 10 sunflower seeds. We give them light, we give them water, we give them some plant food, everything they need to grow. And then every single day for 2 weeks, we measure how tall they are. So I'm going to make you figure out what's the dependent variable and what's the independent variable. So we have some important information from the problem. We know we are botanists. We know we planted 10 sunflower seeds. We know that every day we measure how tall our plants are. Alright, so which one do we think is the independent variable? Which one changes every day that we don't have any control over?
Maybe how tall the plants are?
That's a good guess. Do we have any control over how tall the plants are? No, we don't. So that was our independent variable, but that's good. That's one of our variables. So this one, this 10 sunflowers is kind of a trick. It's not a variable at all. So this is just how many seeds we planted. But our variables are here. So how tall our plants are, like you said, that's our dependent variable. Because how tall the plants are depends on how many days have gone by. So we don't control how tall they are. The plants are just doing their thing, they're just growing, and every single day, every single change, we want to measure how tall they get. Does that make sense? Do we feel good about independent and dependent variables? Okay, so now we're going to do a little activity and a little cheer to kind of help you remember the difference between independent and dependent variables. So I'll show you what it looks like first, and then we're going to divide into two groups. So we'll have a group of announcers over here and a group of actors over here. So it'll be like a call and response kind of thing. So here's what this looks like. So first I'll be the announcer, then I'll be the actor. Here we go. Independent variable, do what we want. Dependent variable, it depends. Independent variable, we do what we want. Dependent variable, it depends. All right, so now we'll split into two groups so you can give it a try.